Pantheon AI presents 300% Cloud AI Boom Coming. Quantum stocks explode. Google search data shows housing crisis. And we are live! Good morning, Sarah. Today is September 18th, 2025. Are you ready to dive into the markets?
I am so ready, John. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PAI Morning Briefing. It feels like a cautiously optimistic day out there. Where should we start?
Let's kick off with the major indexes. The S&P 500 closed at 6,642.41, which is a small nudge up of about 0.23%. The Dow is a similar story, closing around 46,164.86, also up about 0.24%.
Right, slow and steady. The Nasdaq also climbed a bit to 22,503.29. But what really caught my eye was the Russell 2000. It had a much stronger rally, jumping almost a full percent to 2,443.98. A bit of a stronger signal from the small caps.
That's a great point. It suggests there's some underlying confidence bubbling up, even if the big guys are moving cautiously. And speaking of confidence, let's peek at crypto. Bitcoin is hovering around $117,475, up almost 0.9%.
And Ethereum is holding its ground too, around 4,600, with a tiny gain. It feels like a calm morning in the digital currency space, you know? Just a steady upward drift that suggests investors are still believers in the long-term game.
Exactly. It's all about that cautious optimism. Now, let's get into the really big stories, because there's a major trend that analysts are buzzing about: the evolution of cloud-based AI spending.
Oh, this is the one from TD Cowen, right? I saw their report. The numbers are staggering. They surveyed over 200 companies and are projecting that cloud AI spending could surge by as much as 300% through 2028.
300%. You just can't ignore a number like that. When you have vendors, investors, and CIOs all pointing in the same direction, it signals a massive transformation. It feels like the early days of digital transformation all over again, but this time with AI at the core.
It really does. It's like watching a slow-burning fuse. The impact isn't immediate, but you know the explosion's going to reshape entire industries. And this leads us right into another future-facing trend that's suddenly back in the spotlight: quantum computing.
Yes, quantum stocks are turning heads again. Companies like D-Wave and IonQ are seeing a remarkable rally. For a while there, quantum felt like pure science fiction, right? Something confined to university labs?
Totally. But a string of positive news and some real technological breakthroughs have pushed them right back into the spotlight. It's like quantum computing just re-emerged as this bold challenger to everything we know, and investors are placing their bets.
It's a high-stakes game, but the potential disruption is enormous. I mean, imagine tasks that take supercomputers days being solved in seconds. If it pans out, we'll look back at our current machines like they're garden calculators.
Ha! I love that. From sci-fi to garden calculators. Now, speaking of unexpected trends, I found this next one fascinating. It's about what people are searching for on Google.
Let me guess, something that gives us a pulse check on the economy?
You got it. Searches for the phrase "help with mortgage" have spiked to levels we haven't seen since 2009. Now, your first instinct might be to panic, thinking it's a sign of a crisis.
Right, that's exactly where my mind went. But there's more to it?
There is. Economists are suggesting it's not necessarily a distress signal. Instead, it could just be people being proactive, looking for financial advice, and trying to retool their finances in a changing economy. They're educating themselves.
That's a much more optimistic take. It's a signal for financial institutions to step up their game with better digital tools and advice. If your fridge is smarter than your bank's website, you've got a problem.
So true. And that brings us to our final big story, which comes from our own investing club. They've been tracking the best and worst performing stocks over the past month, all while speculation about a potential Fed rate cut is swirling.
And it's a perfect example of how the market isn't a monolith. Some stocks rallied on the hope of easier money while others fell short. It really highlights that divergence and why careful sector-by-sector analysis is so critical.
Absolutely. It's a strategic dance between optimism and caution. So we've got these four huge narratives: the AI spending boom, the quantum computing rally, the mortgage search mystery, and the Fed-driven stock performance.
Let's dig a bit deeper into the sectors then. In tech, it's clearly on fire with the AI and quantum trends. Companies aren't just upgrading, they're completely redefining their business models. It's a battleground of innovation.
And then you have the energy sector. which is in a fascinating balancing act. It's not grabbing headlines, but you have this constant tension between traditional fossil fuels and the big push towards renewables. It's a natural hedge for investors who can play both sides.
A classic tug-of-war between tradition and innovation. And in finance, as we touched on, the pressure to innovate is immense. That surge in mortgage queries is a wake-up call. The sector needs to get more digital, more transparent, and more customer-focused. Fast.
And all of this has global implications, right? The tech adoption, the energy transition. It's not just happening here. We're seeing similar shifts in Europe, Asia, and other emerging markets. For a global investor, connecting those dots is key.
Definitely. Now, a lot of experts are, of course, advising caution. I heard a great line the other day. Investing is like riding a bicycle on a tightrope while juggling flaming torches. That feels pretty accurate right now.
Laughs. That's perfect. The torches are the market risks. But looking ahead, the consensus is that the momentum behind AI and quantum will keep building. The big question remains around the Fed. Will we see a broad rally from rate cuts, or will performance stay divided?
That's the multi-trillion-dollar question everyone's pondering over their morning coffee. So to quickly recap for everyone listening, we've got modest but steady gains in the indexes, hinting at resilience.
The tech sector is electric, with growth in cloud AI and quantum computing. Consumer behavior is shifting, pushing the finance industry to adapt. And finally, Fed speculation is creating a divided market, reminding us that diversification is crucial.
Well said. It's been a fantastic discussion, Sarah. A great blend of data, trends, and a few good laughs. And a big thank you to everyone for tuning in.
Yes, thank you all. Remember, this briefing is brought to you by Pantheon AI, your co-pilot in these fast-moving times. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for our next update.
Until then, keep investing smartly and stay curious. Have a great day, everyone.
Pantheon AI, your information co-pilot.
Because learning shouldn't feel like a full-time job. Take care and see you next time.